Traders from around the world, what's going on? It's me, Ricky Cadden, back again with another free real life stock review from Real Life Trading Australia. It's Wednesday, and every Wednesday and Friday I do put out a stock review, and I do get requests, and we did get a request today by Aiden, so I will be speaking about his requests on CSL and AMD. But first and foremost, guys, let's dive in and talk about the broader markets. There is a little bit of volatility going on. So the SPY. Now the SPY, guys, I did mention the other day, actually it was on the E-minis, I did give you guys this particular setup. I did mention that we were most likely going to go lower. My thoughts on a short-term pullback was back here. And I did mention that we'd probably come back down to around, I think it was 34.50. 34.50-ish, and you can see the lows here. We actually went to around 34.20. So if you were shorting the futures and the like, looking to take these gains, then well done to you. But the SPY, guys, looking very, very weak at this current moment. The volume is currently dropping off, so not super bearish, but we are currently at a previous level of support. So just keep in mind the SPY could potentially just bounce up, go high, and then roll back down to the 100. But we have got the elections coming up at the start of November, so there are very volatile times ahead. The E-minis, guys, is trading a little bit more bullish today, which is just going to be creating a very cute little pennant pattern, which is this little pattern right here. So whichever way we break out, obviously there's no real direction just yet. So I will kind of just watch and wait and see what happens on this one. For the most part, guys, I'm just staying fairly neutral on the broader markets. So got a request from Aiden on AMD. Now AMD I did mention back here on this day, excuse me, sorry, get rid of that. So on this day here, guys, I did mention in our trading room back here that AMD is most likely going to go completely sideways, come back up and come back down. This is the exact drawing I had from that day. I have not moved it at all. And you can see Mr. Squiggles here is just been an absolute champion, and I did mention we were going to go sideways pretty much up until the election, or at least up until earnings, and then we'll see how we kind of play out from there. Could possibly get a gap down. If we get a gap down to the 100 simple moving average on the daily chart over earnings, then I would see that as a dip buying opportunity. AMD is an extremely strong company, guys, so just keep that in mind. But for the most part, just be very neutral. You can do other strategies out there. You do not need to just buy shares to make money on the markets. There are non-directional strategies that I do teach here at Real Life Trading Australia. So if you guys do want to get involved, make sure you do, get in contact with me. JP Morgan. Now this is a trade setup. This is on my weekly options newsletter trade that I do post out every Tuesday. So this one did go out last night, and we did get triggered into this one last night. We got triggered into this one last night. So we're currently in this. We're currently in $100 puts. Paid $320 for them, looking for a target of $450, which is a pretty decent gain. But right now, looking pretty good. I do expect us to kind of break down at this point. JP Morgan looking fresh. We are rejecting the 200 simple moving average. We've got our stop up here way above the 200, and I just expect it to go down a little bit more. Here is the ASX 200. Now I did mention that this gap will eventually fill. I mentioned that in my last review, and I still do stand by that. We are currently consolidating sideways, and we're just building that pressure. We're building that pressure. This was a retest gap, and we have not yet retested. We've just pretty much gone completely sideways. The volume is starting to die off, so the strength is not there to continue on higher. Another request from Aiden was CSL, which is CSL Limited. And mate, with this one, I'd just be completely neutral. There's no real trade setup per se. We are coming back down to the 200 simple moving average. If you take a look at the weekly chart, we are in a bullish trend, and we are definitely creating higher lows and higher highs and higher lows, which is fantastic. But we do have a pretty solid resistance up here around 320. Take a look at the daily chart. There it is there, and we have been struggling to get above 308. So 308 is most likely where most people are looking to, get out of their positions. Just bear in mind also that in the last since in the last 12 months, so basically, well, not 12 months, sorry, since 2019 through to 2020, we had like a 100% gain in the stock. So just Dow Theory 101, we are currently in a distribution phase. So I would expect us to be here at least till the end of the year, and then some a little bit into 2021 before we actually start breaking out and creating some new all-time highs. So not super bullish, not in this position at all, but right now we are currently in the middle of this range right here. So you can see that. I'll just draw this right here. Where is it? This here, the regression trend. You can see that we are basically smack bang in the middle of this particular trend, and I do think that we will continue to trade sideways at this current moment. So CSL, there's no real trade set up. If you are holding it, just be very, very neutral. Look to try and buy low and sell high. So maybe buy down here and then sell some up here. If you do get up to there, I just think it's going to be very, very neutral for the next months. Definitely the next weeks and months. Now here's Woolworths. Wow. So I mentioned all the way back here that Woolworths is going to stay completely neutral for about 6 months. And we have been neutral basically since, well, I mean, we've been neutral basically since the start of the year, but more so since July, and we're currently in October, coming into November. Moving averages are looking very, very nice. I do expect us to pull back down to these moving averages at some point. This is an absolute glorious double bottom. So if we do come back down to the neckline of that, then we could maybe bounce. But Woolworths right now, most likely you're just looking to be selling covered calls out of the money, just to look to take some premium, or aka selling puts as well to try to accumulate some shares at a lower price on good old Woolies. Now here's crude oil futures. Now crude oil is actually looking pretty bullish. I have mentioned in my last few reviews that I do expect us to stay fairly neutral, but right now we are looking very, very bullish. We've got the volume stacking up. We're right at the top of these highs here. There is a potential for us to go higher here. So just if you are a futures trader and you do trade crude oil futures, just keep that in mind. We could potentially get a little bit of a rise here, maybe up into about 44, and then once we get to 44, I would expect us to probably just trade sideways again. But we'll just wait and see what happens coming up into the election. That will be very, very interesting. Now Gold, I've been mentioning for a while, is just a dip buying opportunity. I hope you guys have been capitalizing on this, or at least looking to start pyramiding into this particular trade. Gold is looking fantastic right now. We have just been slowly, just dying off this volume, and we are actually going higher. So I do actually expect for us to start breaking out of these highs and then trading on higher very, very shortly. Looks really, really great. A few real life traders are in GLD shares, so for those of you, just keep on holding. But I will talk about gold. The reason being is the dollar index, so the DXY, is actually looking quite bearish. So generally when DXY starts to break down and go bearish, gold starts to rise. Now obviously we're not at the very bottom right now. We could potentially come back down to about 92, and then after that, I mean below that, we could just have just a straight free fall all the way down to 90 on the dollar index. So just keep that in mind. A lot of things, a lot of assets that are inverse to the US dollar, aka the Aussie dollar, they're going to start to pick up a little bit of strength. So right now is definitely a dip buying opportunity for the AUD. We are currently at a previous level of support, and it's looking pretty juicy. And I did want to talk about Bitcoin, so BTC USD. Now, if you're a part of real life trading, you would have heard our call out saying that 12,000, we're going to hit 12,000 this week. We spoke about that back here, and here it is, guys. We're at 12,200. Now, what is really, really interesting, what we need on Bitcoin, everybody, is we need a solid close above 12,000 on the weekly chart. The reason being is because we have not had a close on the weekly chart above 12,000 since 2018, since we started spiking up. So this could be some really nice. This could be a nice breakout on BTC, USD. Just keep that in mind. I'm definitely holding strong, but wait and watch and see what it looks like at the end of the week. We don't want all these wicks. If we can get a solid breakout, then this is, I mean, next stop 14,000, and then obviously back up to 19. Eventually we'll get up there. It'll just take a little bit of time, but keep holding them Bitcoins. Look to buy low, sell high, and well done to all the real life traders who did get in my call out. They actually got in on my call out back here and also back here. So if you do want to get these call outs, guys, just jump on over to reallifetrading.com.au and join our community. It's $129 a month. I'll leave the link in the description below, and I really hope to see you guys there and be a part of our community. Alright guys, you guys rock. I'll be back on Friday with another free real life stock review. And until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. You rock. Bye.